Hello YouTube. It's been a little minute since I've been recorded anything for this channel. And I have a good reason. So I upgraded my camera. As you can tell, it's probably a little bit nicer. It probably looks a little bit better. The background's a little blurry. It's a step up in quality from what we had before. And today is going to be a little bit different of a video. I wanted to start the year off doing something that was not playthrough related, and that something is we're going to kind of go through my favorite Pokemon of each type. So I'm not the first person to come up with this idea. Obviously, I've seen a multitude of YouTubers go through their favorite Pokemon, their least favorite Pokemon. You know, this is kind of the start of like a longer series that I want to do, where I go through like my favorite legendaries, my favorite regions, like kind of like ranking everything. But this is like episode 1, and if you guys like it and you like what I'm doing, then we can move forward. But I want to thank a specific YouTuber, sxperpotion, for giving me this idea, because he's the reason I'm making this video right now. I'm going to drop his link below if you want to go sub to him. He's getting really close to 3K, and any love would be appreciative, because he's a pretty cool dude. I like him a lot. So without further ado, we're going to get into this list of my favorite Pokemon. But honestly, I can't wait for 2021. Okay, to start off the list with not only my favorite type, but also my favorite Pokemon, we have grass. So, we've got Sceptile. I mean, I know it's a little basic, it's a starter Pokemon. It's a starter Pokemon that a lot of people like. It's like, but it was my first Pokemon that I truly loved. It was my first playthrough of Sapphire. I had a Sceptile and a Ludicolo, and if that can give you any hints as to what will be coming up soon on the list, just don't listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth. Sceptile, its design, its mega form, everything about it has always made it in my top tier favorite Pokemon. It's one of my favorite like 3-stage evolutions, like Trico, Grovyle, and then Sceptile. Just immaculate, perfection. I would do nothing. Dude, the fact that they're in Sword and Shield and I have a shiny one. On to fire types. Now, this one, it's a little off the wall because not a lot of people like this Pokemon. So I'm gonna give you a guess. Guess in the comments what do you think my fire type is. 3, 2, 1. It's Pyroar, the male one specifically. Mostly because it reminded me of like Simba from Lion King, and I thought its design was really cool. And I thought it was an interesting choice to give Pyroar the normal type as well, because it got normal type stab. But I know it's not a fan favorite Pokemon, but its design will always be like top tier for me. It reminds me of another Pokemon on this list that we'll talk about a little bit later. But yeah, so that's kind of where we're at right now with that one. But I love Pyroar. I'm hoping that it gets brought into Gen 8 this year at some point. Please, Game Freak, please. So water types. As you heard earlier, I'm gonna go with Ludicolo. And it's just as of recently did Ludicolo really like skyrocket. I used it in my first playthrough. It was my first shiny ever in Sapphire. And I also I used one in Leaf Green, Coca-Cola, who died, but still, I mean, it's still cool. And it's slowly like raising in my favorites, especially from its 3D animation where it like goes back and forth and it like dances. It's like it's such a good animation. Honestly, its design, it's like happy face. I love that it's like a pineapple duck. Its design, it's perfection. If you don't like Ludicolo, then you can just unsubscribe from me. On to normal types, this one's easy. Exploud. I love its design. I think it's not very loved by the community, but I think it's dope. It's the first Pokemon that I remember off the top of my head that was like big for like sound and stuff. Like I just love the way that it looks. And when I was a kid, I thought it was like impossible to get because it took so long to evolve it. And I have the memory of one of my friends showing me what an Exploud was and me basically like pooping my pants because I was so excited because he was going to trade it to me. So Exploud always has like a high spot on my list. And we also used one on my Emerald playthrough, and if you haven't watched that, you should probably go watch it because content. On to electric. So this is one of my top 10 favorite Pokemon altogether. It's a pretty safe bet. You could say a lot of people love this Pokemon. It's going to be Luxray. It's the Pokemon that when I was a kid, I played through Pokemon Diamond. And I played through with a Chimchar and an Infernape the whole way through, you know. And then I got Pokemon Platinum, but I didn't want to use Infernape again, and I didn't really like Piplup or Turtwig at the time. So I actually didn't use a starter, and I used Luxray as my starter instead. So yeah, it has like the starter bond to me that like Sceptile does. So if you're curious as to why, it's not just because he looks cool. But you know, if Luxray could just also be a dark type, that would also be pretty cool. So what we have for Psychic is our first pick from Generation 8. This one's kind of off the wall as well. I picked Orbeetle. I don't know why. I think it's Gigantamax form that makes it like the UFO is amazing. But honestly, I just think it's such a fun first stage like bug Pokemon, like a first, like the Butterfree and the Beedrill of Gen 8. I just love its design so much. It reminds me of like a Transformer or like a Gundam in like the way that it's like robot-y, but I also love that it's just such a beefcake, and it's shiny. I love it shiny. Oh, we're gonna shiny hunt one soon, just so you know, if you're curious. But yeah, Orbeetle has won its spot in my heart forever. And moving on to fighting, I was gonna put Scrafty, but I ended up not. I put Scraggy instead. Mostly because from when I was younger, I remember the anime and Ash Scraggy, but also because when I think of the line, I think of Scraggy more, and I think it's like overall like tough boy design. Like he reminds me of like the tough boy on the outside and the sad boy on the inside. You know, that yeah. That's how I feel about Scraggy, and I just think it has such a fun design, and it's such a cool Pokemon, and I definitely put it in my top 20 favorite Pokemon overall. It's one of my favorites from Gen 5 for sure. Moving on to Rock type, we'll make this one simple and sweet. It's gonna be midday form of Lycanroc. Honestly, I just really like dogs and wolves, and it's one of my favorite Gen 7 Pokemon. I know it's like a fan favorite Pokemon from the anime and all that kind of stuff, because of Ash and all this. But honestly, I think Lycanroc really earns its spot in a lot of people's top 10 favorite list, and I think its design, I think it's all of its designs, like the midnight form, the midday form, and the dusk form are perfect in their own right, and I think they definitely deserve the love that they get. So moving on to ground, I chose Gliscor. There was a lot of choices for ground that I could have gone with, but honestly, Gliscor has always been one of my favorite Pokemon. Growing up, I loved Gligar, and then when they gave him an evolution in Gen 4, he's powerful, he's fast, he hits really hard, and he's really fun to use. I used him a lot in competitive back in Gen 6, just because I liked using him. And I'm really sad that he's not in Generation 8 right now, just like how I'm sad that we don't have Pyroar yet. But maybe if I cross my fingers and hold my breath, maybe they'll make Gen 4 remakes and, you know, all the fun stuff, and yeah. And moving on to flying, we have Honchkrow. I don't really have a big reason for this one. I just think its design rocks. I like that it's a dark flying type, and honestly, I just like how powerful it is. And that's really it. I just love Honchkrow. Then we're going to Bug. Okay, we're going to Bug. My favorite Bug type Pokemon is Joltik. I was gonna put Galvantula, but I think Joltik is just too cute to not put Joltik. I hate bugs in real life, but if I could have a pet Joltik, I will have a pet Joltik. I promise you, there will be a Joltik plush back there one day. One day. On to Poison, we have our second Gen 8 Pokemon. It's the low-key version of Toxtricity, mostly because I didn't do a lot of research before playing Gen 8, and I got to the daycare where you get the Toxel, and I was like, oh, what's this Pokemon? I'm gonna try and use it on my team. And then I evolved it and instantly fell in love with Toxel. And I will love Toxtricity probably for the rest of my life. It is one of my favorite design Pokemon, and I love the fact that there are 2 forms that are based around its natures. I think that's such a cool way to give us forms for Pokemon. And now that we have like all of the mints for the natures, you can have like a low-key one, and it can be modest, which is so cool to me. So honestly, Toxtricity, I know a lot of people like it too. It's such a fun Pokemon for me, and its Gigantamax form is pretty cool too. So moving on to Dark type, we have N's signature Pokemon, Zoroark. Not only is this one of my favorite Pokemon, but it's actually one of my best friend Noah, or Lost with Hope, as you guys probably know him. One of his favorite Pokemon. In one of our Wonder Battles, he actually got a shiny Zoroark, and I think it was in the first one, maybe. But honestly, this Pokemon is dope. I love its ability. It's such a cool Pokemon to try and use competitively, because you never know like what someone's gonna pull out and what they're gonna be using, or like what they're gonna be doing, and it's super fun to use, and its design rocks. I love the normal colors, and the shiny colors are also really cool. Overall, I give Zoroark like a 10 out of 10 on a Pokemon for like usability and creativity. I think it's awesome, and it reminds me of Gen 5 every time I look at it. Moving on to my favorite ghost type. So originally I had this Pokemon as my favorite fire type, and if you can't put 2 and 2 together, my favorite ghost type is Chandelure. Chandelure is one of my all-time favorite Pokemon. In general, I used one in my first playthrough of Pokemon White, and I pretty much used a Chandelure every single time I've played the game. I love like the purple flames it has. It's such a cool design, and honestly, I was gonna put it on my favorite fire type, but I almost forgot about Pyroar, and this Pokemon fits perfectly in my favorite ghost type because it has such good coverage moves. It has such an interesting design, and I can't wait to shiny hunt this one because I love how it looks like Halloween because of the orange and the green. So that's definitely going to be a fun one, and if you guys are excited for that, make sure you smash the like button because that one's going to be coming really soon. On to ice types. So this is another baby Pokemon. I don't have a lot of them on my list, but this is a Lowland Vulpix. So all growing up, I was a bigger fan of Growlithe than I was of Vulpix all the time. I thought Vulpix was cool or cute, but I was like, I like Arcanine more than Ninetales. And then Gen 7 came out, and we got the wonderful Alolan Ninetales, which I think Alolan Ninetales rocks. But I think Alolan Vulpix is one of the cutest Pokemon in the whole game. Like, if I had to pick my favorite baby Pokemon in terms of just like cuteness alone, it's a really close tie between Joltik and Alolan Vulpix. But like, just like I said for Joltik, you're gonna see an Alolan Vulpix plush back there eventually, and I have no regrets. On a steel type, we have another Gen 5 Mon, Excadrill. I know this is another kind of like a lot of people love Excadrill. I just think it hits really hard. I like its design, and I think it's dope. I like that it's a mole. I like that it's actually like really short. Even though it looks really strong, even though it's really strong, it's not very big. And I love that dynamic, and I think its typing it rocks, and I love using it competitively, not in just regular playthroughs. Everything about Excadrill just like is such good. He's so good. I have no words. I like that his like design has like the scars and stuff. I have nothing else to really say about him besides for the fact that I think that he's a dope Pokemon. But honestly, he definitely fits my steel type spot. So we moving on to dragon type. So I could have been stereotypical and I could have been like Garchomp, because Garchomp is really high on my list. But actually my favorite dragon type is Flygon. It's a Pokemon that I always thought was a pseudo legendary up until like I really learned what pseudo legendaries were. And I never knew how to get one. I never knew that Trapinch turned into Flygon, or I would have used one a lot growing up. I had no idea. But I love its design, and I love that like it would be such a good like bug dragon type. Like you can look at its goggles and like the coloring and the fact that it like and Vibrava, like everything about the Pokemon. Like for me, I feel like Trapinch would have been a really good like ground bug, and then you move on to, unless it is ground bug, I can't remember off the top of my head now if it's ground bug. But then he moved to Vibrava, and then instead of it being ground dragon, I feel like it should have been like dragon bug. And then Flagon could have been dragon bug. I don't know. I just think it would have been cool. I don't think we have a dragon bug type off the top of my head. I can't think of any of them that are dragon and bug type. But if there are, let me know in the comments below, because I want to check it out. But I'm pretty sure that there aren't. I'm like 99% sure. The last type is fairy. And it took me a little bit to figure out what Pokemon I wanted to put in this slot. But between Granbull and Ralts, I chose Ralts. Mostly purely on nostalgia, just because of Wally and all this stuff, but also because it has a split evolution between Gallade and Gardevoir, and I actually like both of them a lot. I like the fact that it has such usability in terms of like, do I want a fairy psychic or do I want a fighting psychic? And the fact that both of its evolutions are useful and strong. Plus, I just love its like little bowl cut design, and I pulled a shiny one in Hidden Fates. As well, which is cool. And I think the shiny design with like the blue hair just rocks. So honestly, I think Ralts is definitely the perfect fairy type for me in this list. But that's gonna be it. Thank you guys so much for checking out this video. If you got the whole way here, make sure you smash the like button and go over to my Discord server. I'm gonna have a link to the little Pokemon picker to where you can pick your own teams. We can talk about it over on Discord. Comment below what your favorite Pokemon is, but also if you have any ideas for like top 10 lists or things that I can do, if you want me to like talk about my favorite generation or anything you want to know, like information wise, that like I could sit down and talk about, like anything's perfect. I hope you guys are excited for more content from me. We're going to be doing Let's Play content, collaborative content, everything and anything you can think of is going to be happening this year on Pancake Wizard 12. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen next for our channel and our little community. It's growing more than I ever expected, so thank you again, and I'll catch you back here on the next video.